he's one of our plan to see him fight in 25.
The goal obviously is a Canelo fight for him, right?
We hope he wants this fight.
Canelo and Crawford are two names that fans have been dying to see on a fight show together, and the talk surrounding their prospective matchup just refuses to die.
The strategy is me leaving with my hand, rolls and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, sums it up.
After months of uncertainty, the idea of these two champions clashing appears to have gotten a fresh spark of hope. It's been a roller coaster ride of opportunities, impediments, and now maybe a small light at the end of the tunnel.
If it does happen, as long as Crawford stays away and just boxes and be smart, he can win that fight. I think Crawford's a better fighter than Charlo, and he's a smart fighter as well. He switches and everything. So
Canelo, the reigning unified super middleweight king, has been at the top of his game. In September, he successfully defended his belts against Edgar Berlanga, reminding everyone why he's one of the most dominant fighters in the sport today. Fans are used to seeing Canelo walk into the ring for his iconic Cinco de Mayo fights, but as of now, his next opponent is a mystery. That uncertainty has fueled speculation, with Terence Crawford's name once again making its way to the top
in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way.
Crawford has been on an incredible journey of his own. The former welterweight champion shocked the world by moving up to super welterweight and taking on the formidable Israel Madrimov. Not only did Crawford emerge victorious, but he also added a fourth weight division title to his already remarkable record. Fans have been dreaming of seeing Crawford jump another weight class to face Canelo, and the fighter himself has explicitly stated he's ready to rise to the task. But could this actually happen?
Tonight, Terence Crawford was Turki Alalshikh at the other event across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turki Alalshikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
Earlier this year, Saudi chief Turki, Alalshikh had voiced interest in organizing the conflict with his resources and connections. It seemed like he might be able to pull off what many consider a dream marriage. However, talk struck a dead end when Canelo refused to discuss the fight before his showdown with Berlanga. That choice led Alalshikh to step back, and for a while, it seemed like the fight was nothing more than wishful imagining.
If the money is right, I mean...
$100 million? I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Now Alalshikh has taken a surprising step, putting the ball back in Canelo's court. Speaking to DAZN, he made it clear he's willing to restart talks, but only if the discussions happen directly between him and Canelo. I don't know anyone now from the Canelo teams, and I don't have any connection, but if he's hearing me, I'm eager to talk, Alalshikh stated, but I want to discuss me and him straight without anyone in the midst. This direct method could be a paradigm changer. Alalshikh is known for making big moves in the boxing world, and his desire to circumvent intermediaries shows just how serious he is about making this fight a reality. The issue now is whether Canelo will answer to the call.
I'm an all-around athlete. There ain't nothing I can't do.
So what you doing to enjoy yourself since winning the belts?
While supporters are excited about the chance, Canelo hasn't been without his critics. David Benavidez, another name often tied with the Mexican superstar, recently accused him of turning down a staggering $70 million offer to face an undefeated former world champion. Whether or not this claim bears weight, it adds to the pressure on Canelo to deliver a blockbuster fight in 2024. Facing Crawford could be the perfect solution for Crawford. This fight represents not just a chance to cement his legacy, but also an opportunity to silence anyone who doubts his ability to battle at 168 pounds. Despite the significant weight difference, Crawford has never shied away from a task. His dominant performance against Madrimov earlier this year was proof that he's ready to push himself to the limit. The idea of taking on Canelo is no exception.
Weight classes. And remember, Canelo is a guy who presses a lot. That's one thing Canelo does. Canelo's not very active, but he gets in your face and he mentally presses you a lot by cutting off the ring, getting in your face. So I start to wonder if going up to super middleweight is going to be a bridge too far for Crawford. But hey, man, he got the win, and I guess that's going to be the talking point from now as well.
The stakes couldn't be higher for both fighters. A victory for Canelo would further solidify his standing as one of the greatest boxers of this age, while a triumph for Crawford would make him a legend in his own right. Fans are already imagining the fireworks such a fight would bring, with both fighters known for their skill, strategy, and determination. The involvement of Alalshikh adds another layer of intrigue. As the mastermind behind Crawford's recent bout and Riyadh, he has shown he can put together major events that capture the attention of the boxing world.
Power, so he's going to hit you everywhere, and you're a naturally smaller guy. It could start to take effect. It's a fight people are going to want to see, and if Canelo's not going to fight Benavidez and he's not going to fight Moreau, which we've obviously seen he's not, you'd rather end up seeing Canelo against a Crawford for like some kind of super fantasy fight, rather than Canelo against, I don't know, the guy who's going to deliver my pizza later. You know what I'm saying?
His latest comments suggest he's still invested in making Crawford versus Canelo happen, even after earlier stating he'd focus on securing bigger bouts for Crawford elsewhere. It's worth noting that Crawford's win over Madrimov was more than just another notch on his championship. It was a statement that the USC fighter is no pushover, and Crawford's ability to dominate him sent a clear message to anyone doubting his versatility. The win also reignited discussions about his next opponent, with Canelo's name frequently coming up in conversations among fans and analysts alike.
And like, I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and like he say, they talking about the fight with Germonta, right? I think he say, nobody's gonna give me credit if I beat him. It's the same thing, you know. It's the same thing. I think it's.
On the other hand, Canelo's win against Berlanga was met with varied responses. While it was another successful defense of his titles, some critics thought the fight lacked the intensity expected from a Canelo main event. This only added to the anticipation for his next outing, as fans hoped to see him take on a truly formidable opponent. Crawford, with his reputation and recent accomplishments, fits that bill nicely. The potential fight also raises worries about strategy. How would Crawford adapt to fighting at 168 pounds? Would his speed and accuracy be enough to neutralize Canelo's power and experience at that weight? And for Canelo, would facing someone as skilled and relentless as Crawford force him to rethink his usual approach?
How can you, a man coming from 147, I know he's a great man. Crawford is a great man and a great warrior. But you come from 147 to put on a better fight than I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great and he can do that, or that means that Charlo set the bar so damn low that anybody could do better than Charlo did last night.
Well, those are questions that Crawford himself seemed to find difficult to answer. Terence Crawford even seemed uninterested in chasing a fight at 168 pounds, especially against Canelo Alvarez, speaking to Sporting News in a video. Before his legendary win over Errol Spence Jr., Crawford made his feelings clear. 168, I'm not going up there, he said, leaving fans doubting if such a matchup could ever happen. Yet here we are with the conflict now proven. Crawford has shifted his mindset, turning what seemed impossible into his biggest motivation in recent months. Crawford's hunger to face Canelo has only grown.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
On the Porterway podcast, he revealed just how much this fight means to him. To be honest, that Canelo fight was my motivation. He admitted the idea of starting at lightweight and climbing all the way to super middleweight with no catch weight is daunting even for someone as accomplished as Crawford, but for him that challenge is what makes it exciting. It would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 to come all the way up to 168. No catch weight and dethrone Usyk. He's got that in the back of his head, Crawford said, recognizing that the stakes are high for both fighters. Even Crawford himself knows moving up in weight is a daunting task. He's already made history I becoming a champion across for weight divisions, and now he's set his sights on doing something no one has ever done before.
Disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, you know, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
You know, it's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, your matchup is coming out of the other weight classes, and and he's welterweight, so don't make sense.
Still, Crawford stays grounded, saying, "Man, it's something to speak about retirement. You know, there are things that we talk about. Right now I'm still doing what I do. Canelo has got a fight coming up, so I never want to make it about me and Canelo." While Crawford has always been deferential in his attitude, Canelo has been far less enthusiastic about the fight. In the PSR, the Mexican superstar has openly dismissed the notion, saying it gives him no real reward. So now, if you picture Crawford as a welterweight at 168 pounds, I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because if I win, they'll say, "Oh, he was too small." And everything Canelo told Boxatica. His hesitation makes reason. There's a lot on the line for him too. Losing to someone moving up numerous weight classes would be a massive blow to his reputation.
All the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Still, Crawford has refused to back down, especially after proving himself again and again. His recent win over Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA world title at super welterweight brought him one step closer to this historic showdown. Even then, Canelo wasn't pleased. Speaking to Fight Hype, he questioned Crawford's performance, saying, "I think he knows why there are weight classes there, right? He made a good fight, but for me, I believe he lost the fight or drew. It could have been the other side." Crawford was eager to fire back at Canelo's comments on the Porterway show. He reminded supporters of Canelo's own problems when moving up in weight. "They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up in weight and won. He moved up in weight and lost. So let's not do that. Canelo, it's a sharp rejoinder, and one that shows the grit Crawford brings to this matchup." Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol at light heavyweight is still fresh in the thoughts of many admirers. In that fight, Bivol outboxed him over 12 rounds, exposing vulnerabilities in Canelo's game when facing larger opponents. While Canelo did win his first fight at 75 pounds against Sergey Kovalev, his record at higher weights isn't perfect. Crawford views this as proof that he's ready to take on challenges just as big as Canelo's, if not bigger.
A lot of people say, well, Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo Alvarez to prove he's the best. Me personally, I think it's just a cash grab. And he's just trying to get as much money as he can before he...
Crawford's argument gains even more weight when considering Canelo's recent opponent choices. Just a few fights ago, Canelo faced Jermall Charlo, a former undisputed champion at super welterweight. If Canelo was ready to battle Charlo, why not Crawford? After all, both fighters have proven themselves in the ring and are chasing greatness. Fans see this conflict as a normal progression, an opportunity for both men to show they're the best of the best. For Crawford, this fight isn't just about titles or records, it's about making history. Moving up to 168 pounds and dethroning Canelo would cement his place as one of the best fighters of all time. And while the challenge is immense, Crawford's confidence is unshakable. He knows the hazards, but he also knows the benefits are worth it. That's what makes this fight so amazing. It's not just another boxing match, it's a moment that could redefine the sport.
Ever since they sparred over a decade ago, no one's been a bigger Terence Crawford believer than Tim Bradley.
Right.
And so Tim still picks Terence to beat Boots, still picks Terence to beat Canelo.
Canelo, on the other hand, has always been about reputation. He's taken on the best and proven himself time and again, but this fight with Crawford is different. It's not just about adding another win to his record. It's about protecting his place at the summit of the sport. The pressure is great, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Fans are anxious to see how he'll rise to the situation. It's the kind of matchup that doesn't come around often, a clash of two stars at the pinnacle of their powers. Both combatants have everything to lose and everything to win. And that's what makes it so exciting. Fans are already arguing who will come out on top, analyzing every detail and speculating about what might happen in the ring.
I think Terence Crawford has a chance against Canelo Alvarez at 168.
I think he has a chance against either one of those guys. The weight, though, is a serious thing. And one of the reasons why Canelo is so successful is he's got such a good chin.
Crawford's trip to this point has been nothing short of extraordinary. Starting at 135 pounds and climbing through the weight classes, he's faced every challenge head-on. Now, at 37 years old, he's set to take on the biggest challenge of his career for Canelo. This fight represents a chance to silence his detractors and prove once and for all that he's the best fighter of his time. As the boxing world gears up for this epic showdown, one thing is clear. This fight is more than just a battle between two champions. It's a measure of will, skill, and drive.
Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
You know, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he is not in the plan.
Both fighters have taken distinct roads to get here, but they share a similar goal: to be remembered as the greatest. Amir Khan stands as the only fighter who has shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, providing him with a unique perspective on the hypothetical matchup between the two pound-for-pound stars. Having faced each fighter at different points in his career, Khan's insights carry weight, especially as rumors surrounding a clash between Crawford and Canelo continue to build.
Canelo been making his own catch weight for years. You know, Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather. Canelo fought a smaller Amir Khan, but Amir Khan.
Yeah, he did.
Khan first ventured into the ring with Canelo in May 2016, moving up from welterweight to fight for the WBC middleweight title. The fight, contested at a 155 pounds catchweight, ended with a devastating sixth-round knockout loss for Khan. Despite his defeat, he experienced directly the ferocious force and size that Canelo brings to the table. 3 years later, Khan faced Crawford in a welterweight bout for the WBO world title. Crawford, at the peak of his powers, stopped Khan in the sixth round as well, showcasing his versatility, precision, and speed. This dual experience gives Khan an unparalleled view of both fighters' assets and weaknesses.
Like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down.
Speaking to Box Nation, Khan reflected on the hypothetical matchup between Canelo and Crawford, giving his honest assessment of how the fight might unfold. Canelo is a beast, dude. I fought both of those guys, and I feel that size always triumphs having weight classes. There's a reason behind that. Terence is amazing, don't get me wrong, but then there's getting hit by a guy like Canelo. Khan emphasized the immense challenge Crawford would face stepping into the ring with Canelo, especially when it comes to handling the Mexican's power and size advantage. However, despite acknowledging the risks, Khan voiced his loyalty to Crawford and praised his exceptional skill set.
I think that should happen. Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
What a problem that would be. Though, I'll support my boy Terence, and I want him to win that fight, but it would be challenging. Does he need that fight? No. I don't think he needs it. He has done so well in his work and vanquished everyone. Khan also touched on the motivations that could drive Crawford to accept the fight, stressing the potential for a massive payday. He's untouchable and one of the best out there pound for pound. But if it's a big payday, then I know why it'll be made. Why would Terence accept a risky fight for less money when he can take a seriously hard fight for serious money? We never want to see fighters get hurt, but he is a special fighter. If that fight happens, it's hard to call who would win, but I would be in Terence's corner.
Yo, Turki, tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
Khan's assessment captures the allure and complexity of a potential Crawford versus Canelo fight. The clash would certainly be a monumental event for boxing, pitting two of the sport's greatest talents against each other in a high-stakes encounter. Adding further intrigue to the discussion is the viewpoint of Alexander Usyk, the unified heavyweight champion known for his technical brilliance and keen boxing IQ. Speaking on the 3 Knockout Rule podcast, Usyk offered an audacious bet in favor of Crawford. "I say Terence wins. Terence is a different figure. Terence works into sides on the right and the left. He feels the space. Terence can fight like a big man." Usyk's trust in Crawford comes from the American's ability to adapt his ring intelligence and his proficiency in fighting from both orthodox and southpaw stances. For Usyk, Crawford's ability to box like a big man says that he possesses the tools to overcome Canelo's physical advantages.
Terence Crawford would have to move up.
Crawford's most recent performance, a victory over Israel Madrimov in August that won him the WBO super welterweight title, further underscores his preparedness to take on bigger challenges. Despite Madrimov's status as a formidable opponent, Crawford outpointed him with relative ease, exhibiting his dominance across multiple weight classes. Usyk's endorsement of Crawford aligns with the growing view that the 37-year-old remains at the peak of his powers. His ability to navigate multiple weight classes and consistently deliver high-level performances has solidified his standing as one of boxing's all-time greats. What do you think? Share your ideas below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.